All right, so we are having this is the first time ever we have a repeat guest. So Julie Kedzie was kind enough to return. We've got MMA pioneer.
Only for you kids. Only for you guys. Good luck in finals.
It sounds like you're calling me a kid now. So I feel it's a good nickname. So and also we should say you're going to be commentating Invicta next week, which is really exciting.
Yes,
so are the fights on Friday or Saturday?
They're on the 21st, which I believe is
Friday,
right? Yeah. Because today's a Thursday.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to know my days of the week.
And then if people want to watch it, how would
they can
if
watch
any
it
class
through
wants to?
any of Invicta's streaming services. So through any of our social media, I think there's going to be a live stream on YouTube and also on Access TV, which is only that doesn't help the international crowd, but it really does help. If you have Access TV through your subscribers, you can watch it there. So,
okay, awesome.
But anything through the Invicta site, so it should be great.
Oh, okay, that's really cool. And so you are returning in part because you beat out stiff competition for the favorite guest of the year, and there actually were a lot of really good guests. So I should say, it sounds silly, but there were really good guests. We had we had a professor who did this cool ethnography on migrant soccer leagues in LA. He did, which was awesome. We had Ben Mehik, who is a podcaster related to the Washington Wizards, and he's about to be an agent for NBA players. Who else did we have? We had Celia Carey, who owns a pole dancing and fitness studio in Rochester. Is this really cool person? And then we had Michael Carson, who is he was a championship kickboxer, and he's transitioning into MMA, and he's training at Lloyd Irvin's right now. So he was a big person in Rochester.
Yeah, I trained
he
there
won
once upon a time.
Yeah, and so he got Rochester actually gave him the keys to the city after he won a bunch of amateur kickboxing, which is cool because he was a local kid who grew up and had success. So somehow you beat them all out, which is awesome. And a lot of the comments,
old lady.
and the comments were that you were real. That was one of the main things, that they felt like everything you said was real. So take that as a compliment.
Yeah, I don't know how gross I can be on here or not, but
no, you can say. You can say whatever you want, and the fun part is, last time I gave you the questions in advance. This is just, I promised I won't take a ton of your time.
No, you're good.
We're
I will be real. Let's go,
and
kids.
we're gonna do rapid fire questions, so not long answers. And we'll see how it goes, and I'm gonna resist asking follow-ups, which I might break once or twice, but I'm gonna try to resist.
Okay.
So I actually don't remember what these questions are, so this will be kind of fun. So we'll just go through them fast.
Okay.
And we have 20 questions, so really not long
first
answers.
thing that comes to mind?
Yeah, otherwise we'll be here for 3 hours.
I know.
Which, will be fun, but no one's going to watch it. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so first question. Favorite woman MMA fighter of all time?
Me.
Other than yourself. I should say, other than yourself.
Megumi Fuji.
Okay, and I won't even ask a follow-up why. All right. Favorite current fighter to watch any gender?
Oh, God. That's terrible. Now,
It's hard.
I don't have one. I'm so sorry. Michelle Watterson or Holly Holm comes to mind first.
Oh, okay, people you trained with too, right?
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to ask follow-ups.
It's okay. That's all right. That's just those are the first people that come to mind.
Yeah. And that's part of it. So you can regret these answers.
Angela Hill too. I never trained with her, but Angela Hill's so fun to watch.
Who also has a fight coming up for people. Who was your toughest competitor, other than yourself?
I know. I was gonna say me. Toughest competitor. Gina hit really hard. Carano hit really hard. I think, though, Jermaine Durandamy, man, she had me out on my feet. That's the one that really comes to mind as somebody who smashed me.
Was that in the UFC?
Yeah, it was my first UFC fight. La Rosa smashed my face in pretty good. Lord, there were a lot. Yeah. I'd say those are, Those were the,
All right, switching away from fighting, favorite animal to have as a pet?
Oh, my old dog Bailey. But don't tell my new dog Cassius, because Bailey passed away a couple years ago. So.
As long as dogs don't watch online videos.
Yeah. And my cats are in the room. So.
What was one musician or band or song that you listened to during training or pre-fight to get you hyped?
I loved Johnny Cash's cover of Tom Petty's "I Won't Back Down." That was a big hype one.
So slow but intense music.
Yeah. Oh, I just thought that was kind of defining of me. But I really actually liked. Fuck. Okay. I know Kanye's not in good standing with the world right now. No,
but his music's still amazing. You can't.
Eminem. It was an Eminem. I don't know if it was Kanye. I can't fucking remember now. I'm sorry. I want to look at my phone because I don't want to. I know it's rapid fire, but it was like one of those old songs from like the Monster Eminem soundtrack. It was like a remix, and it was like it wasn't the Monster, but like I swear I'm a bad person, and I don't care.
We can go with Eminem.
It
and
wasn't
also
just him though. It was like it was because it was
and with Kanye West. I don't even know what song.
No
was.
Love, Lil Wayne. It was. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Not
right.
racist because I said, but Lil Wayne is not somebody I listen to as much as Kanye West because I love like Wolves and that whole like remix. You know, I know Kanye's not good standing. That whole like Wolf song was amazing.
Yeah,
so
I know Kanye West does amazing music. Yeah. I can't resist. I can't forgive myself and like give up Kanye West either. All right. So, do you ever think about quitting Twitter?
Yeah, frequently. And then I realized I can just turn it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you have to resist turning it on.
Well, yeah, I want to buy or I want to sell my book someday. That's the reason I have it. And I like to give it to people.
All right. This is this is an interesting one. Conor McGregor, net positive or net negative on the sport?
Overall net positive? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
At one point you were scheduled to fight Amanda Nunes. Did you get a sense of how good she would be at that time?
Yes, but not world beating levels here. And I don't mean that as an insult to her, but it was, I think she was a little bit more unknown then.
Yeah.
So I had a game plan against her and it just, yeah.
Do you think anyone will beat Amanda Nunes in the next 5 years?
It's possible. But I think the only person who can beat Amanda Nunes, is herself right now.
So just the success and just keeping that level of excellence going.
I have to mention her as one of my favorites to watch too. She's so awesome. Yeah.
Worst injury you've had?
Shoulder. Reconstructive surgery. And my labrum was torn all
From
the way
grappling?
through. No, from a fight. Well, I think it was a compilation of training for the fight and into the fight, but it tore all the way through after the Tate fight in 2012. I couldn't like support myself on it. It was awful. And it turned out I had this really cool thing called a Buford complex.
Which sounds like a psychological trauma type.
Yeah, no, it's just this like extra tendon thing, and it was holding my shoulder in place or the whole thing. Like it would have just like, so.
Most painful thing that has happened to you in training or in a fight?
Oh gosh, training or in a fight? Probably. I think the first time I fell on my shoulder, that was pretty awful. But you know, it's funny, those hangnails, like or mat burns, those things. That hurts so much sometimes. Yeah.
Where are we at? Your favorite win?
Yulia Berzakovich, 2007.
Okay, people can look that up. Do you remember where that was? What organization?
Petersburg, Russia. That's the one where I pooped my own pants.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the famous story.
Yeah.
People can look that up if they want to hear that story. As a fight expert, Godzilla or King Kong, who would win?
Godzilla.
Okay.
It's just got more weapons.
What is your favorite bird?
Whew. You know what? I hate birds. But all day long, I really like hawks. So there are a ton of red-tailed hawks here, and they're just fascinating to watch. So yeah.
Do you think there'll be a fighters union in the next 10 years?
Yes, in the next 10 years, yeah, I believe there will be.
Oh, that's interesting. I was curious about that. That we could have a whole conversation about, but we're not allowed to by the artificial rules that I've created. What's the hardest thing about commentating?
My own nerves. I know that sounds like the same thing I'd say about fighting, but really when the fights start, it's amazing. But when it comes to like, I will try to say the right thing. I'll try to prepare a speech in the pre-fight like stuff. Once the fights are going, I'm happy. I'm in my element. When I'm in front of a camera and I'm trying to look like pretty and I just want to talk about fighting, I never shut up. And so
when you're in front of the camera, I know I said I wouldn't ask follow-ups, but
it's okay.
When you're in front of the camera, can you see yourself? You don't see, right? When they're filming? Okay.
No, because you're looking like right up here. Like if I were looking right at the camera here, I wouldn't be looking at you. So I see. Can't. Yeah.
Okay. This one really is, when I got this question, I thought about this for a long time. So thank you to whoever sent this in. Do you turn your head to the left or to the right when eating tacos?
Oh, I'm more of a turning my head to the right person.
You've heard this before?
Hurts.
This question?
No,
is
but
this
just
a common? Okay.
And I was thinking about when I would sit in a seminar for classes in grad school, I would sit on a certain side of the room, or I would try to, because turning my head one way hurts a little bit more. But it's also my better profile side, I think. I don't know.
So people can see you while you're eating.
So for tacos, I would think I just naturally turn one way because my neck hurts the other way. So yeah.
What was your least favorite part of training?
Training. Once it's going, it's like the commentating. It's like once it's going, it was so fun and I loved it.
So it's the build up.
The build
Getting
up
your
to it.
yeah.
I'm so lazy. I'm so or something. I have to be pushed. Yeah.
Favorite non-martial arts sport to watch if you have one.
Okay, so we're like eliminating boxing and kickboxing.
I'll get rid of combat sport.
Well, football's kind of a combat sport, isn't it?
No, let's count it. That's separate.
You know, I love watching team sports like football and basketball a lot. Yeah, but only, it seems like a team watching experience. So I only really do that when I'm around other people and I think to. But I think they're really interesting.
Yeah. And so it's partially the community aspect.
Yeah, and just the technical abilities. I mean, the way
Yeah.
people can rock on one leg or they can charge. I mean, the fighting stuff behind football charges is pretty amazing.
Actually, this I'll skip ahead to this one. Which sport do you think has the most impressive athletes? Impressive to you?
Out of
any sport,
combat sports, because I mean,
no, any sport.
Okay, I'd say MMA, but I also think we're all jerks. Soccer or swimming. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you could have a superpower, what would you choose?
Oh gosh, that's one of those like the ability to fly or be invisible things, right? I'd probably fly. I'm pretty. Artistic.
Even if it's obvious, you can't beat it.
Yeah.
Dream job that's not at all related to MMA.
Oh, like being paid to write, but like and talk about anything.
Which is kind of the direction. I mean, you've pursued your.
I'm trying.
dream.
Yeah.
You're pursuing it now. It just has to happen.
Yeah.
Favorite activity when you have free time?
I love hiking. The dog park is great. Free time. I'd like to say reading, but honestly, I'm mostly on Audible books now. I don't know if that's a huge shift in culture, but I've really learned a lot through podcasts and audiobooks. I really do love hiking though. Like just taking long walks. It's amazing. I have a kayak. Love that. Not that good
All right,
at it, but I love it.
Here's a follow-up that was not on here. When you write your book and it becomes an audiobook, will you read it yourself or will you have someone else read it?
I hope so, but if I mean, if there's a celebrity out there, like, fuck yeah. Get that combined power. My light just turned itself off. All right.
That's okay. It means that we're close to the end.
Yeah.
It's like the Grammys or whatever when they're playing the speech off. Let's see. Where are we up to? This is a good one. Should MMA organizations allow weight cutting?
Yes.
Who
not
do you think...
extreme, but yes. Yeah.
Okay. So who do you think will win in the Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather boxing match?
Seriously.
I'm just reading the questions.
There's a rematch set up. Mayweather unless there's a rematch set up. Because the rematch is where the money is in boxing. So yeah.
I just read the questions. Is cereal a soup?
It depends on how long you let the milk sit.
What was your biggest these are nice too. These are the final two questions. You can take more than a second to think about this. What was your biggest weakness as a fighter?
Myself. I mean, that's lame to say that.
So more the mental game.
Yeah, I place way too much faith in other people and not myself. Yeah.
All right, and then this ending on a positive note. What was your best attribute?
Being tough wasn't hard. I was tough. And when I was on, like that thing where I believed in other people, that belief led to extraordinary feelings, if not performances, if that makes any sense. Like that made it a really good attribute, because when I believed in everything around me and that I was just the shit, then I was the shit, and it was awesome.
It's so interesting. The weakness and strength were kind of like the same space. All right, and then actual final question I'm adding. Winning favorite guest of Sport and Society from Brockport in 2021. Where does that rank in your biggest wins?
Oh, top now.
Top,
top now, yeah. Hell yeah.
Okay.
Professor Kyle Green's class. You're my heroes.
All right, that's it. So that was the rapid fire. So thank you again. This was awesome. This will be nice. Students are all working. This is their final week before finals, so they probably could use something to distract them. So I appreciate it.
What's
this will
their
be fun.
final project in your class? Do they write for you, or do they have to take tests?
For Sport and Society, what I've done is they have 3 debates that they have to do during the semester. So what were the debates this time? The first debate was, I should remember these. The first debate was about public financing of sports stadiums. So I had one side argue against it, one side argue for it. The second debate Why don't I remember the second debate?
It's
Now I'm on
finals
the
time
spot.
for you too. Like
Yeah,
all that
no, now
stress,
I'm really
yeah.
interested. What was the first one? Now I'm really curious. And this is going to disappoint them. They don't even know what they talked about. What was the first debate about? It was related in some way. I'm going to cheat also. Well,
Do it.
Let me tell you what it was. And the current one they're debating is how to reform football due to things like CTA and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So and the question is, they have complete freedom. So should it be reformed? Should it be outright banned? Should there be no change? So they've got freedom to decide.
That's great.
But what was the first? And then often, one of the debates I often have, which we didn't have this semester, was should sport at lower levels be separated by sex? Or should it be combined? So how do we actually satisfy Title IX? So the second debate was funding stadiums. The first debate was, should college athletes be paid?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We should.
Yeah. And so that was, I had them, but I don't let them choose their side, so I force them. So
Good. That's
it's not based on what they believe.
Oh my god.
But if they say if they say that it should be paid, then they have to decide. But all athletes, which athletes, Division I, II, and III, just Division I. So they have to go beyond it, and they have to make connections to other discussions in class.
That's really great. I mean, monetizing basically an education is an interesting, because universities
Yeah,
are
and
businesses.
And the other question, and where a lot of people end up falling, is they shouldn't be. Maybe athletes don't necessarily get paid, but they should own their own image, right? So that way, if you're in a big program like football or basketball, even if you're not getting paid literally to be there, you still get the scholarship. Protect the scholarship more, right? So you can't. If you hurt your knee, you should still get all 4 years because you've been there and you hurt your knee playing the sport, which is ridiculous that they don't always do that. But then also, if you want to be on social media, if you want to go advertise for the local, I don't know, furniture store, you should be able to use your image and get paid on top of it. So that's where a lot of people ended up falling, and I think where I probably end up falling too. But yeah, so they have a final debate, which happens tomorrow, and then they have a book review that is due next week instead of a final exam.
Do you sign the book, or do they?
I signed the book.
What book?
So it's this really cool book called Play Their Hearts Out, which is about, do you know that book at all? It's
I've
by
heard
George.
the title. I've not read it.
Yeah, who is it? George, I can't remember his last, I think Dorman now, but it's this really cool book where it follows elite youth basketball, and it follows this coach and this kid in California, and it just shows how little regulation there is, how much money is just in that system trying to take advantage of these kids, and the only people who are really disposable are the athletes themselves, who are like 10 years old, and you have schools and sponsors. Nike will try to move a kid to a Nike school even when they're like 12 years old. So it follows this path of this one kid as he goes from being in, I think, like 5th grade all the way through his senior year of high school. So it's really good book, well written. It's a little long, which is the challenge. So what I'm having them do, which I think is fun, I'll see what they say. And they're going to be watching me justify this to you. So instead of having to write a huge book report, for each chapter, they have to choose a key moment that they think captures something important in that chapter, some shift in the narrative plot, something that happens to a character, maybe something that a sponsor does, and then they have to make a connection to class. So just 2 to 3 sentences for each, so keeping it really short, which is kind of good training, right? Like you read something and then synthesize it, or like distill it into what you think was important.
No, that's perfect. That's such a good lesson.
Yeah, and hopefully it's less work.
If I ever teach it.
Yeah, and I can send you my syllabus if you want to look at what we read for this class.
I love it. I love people's syllabi. It's so funny. Like I'm burnt out. Like I don't know. Like I've applied for teaching jobs everywhere. No one will hire me, and I'm like, damn it, Iowa loved me. Like I don't know what's wrong, but
well, I mean, you're in such a sociology, and here's some insight for students who are still watching to hear this part too. The job market's bad across academia. Sociology is a little bit insulated because it's in that space between the science and humanities, right? So it's bad, but not quite as bad. But people in humanity, I mean, at creative writing. It's anything crazy. Related to English or literature or philosophy, it's hard.
It's crazy. I was teaching rhetoric, and I'm thinking how close that is to your debates and stuff, like my lesson plans, like having people. I mean, it's all related, really. Yeah. But and we did a bunch of science and science writing and rhetoric. We did Henrietta Lacks and all that other stuff. But I don't want to bore your kids. I know they're.
No, well, and then for students, we should do our best. We should get Julie Kedzie a job at Brockport and figure out
creative nonfiction. But I can teach fiction. I said, I don't know what I just said. Sorry, it's been a really long day.
saying fiction wrong is that disqualifies
I
you.
know. I made
All
a
right.
fiction out of fiction.
All right,
Yeah.
never mind. We don't want this person at Rock. But all right, well, thank you again. This was awesome.
thank you.
This was a highlight of the semester, so I'll share this with students. I'll share this with you in case you want to watch your answers
for sure.
and rethink them.
Yeah. I'll cry. But hey, you guys, good luck on your finals. Oh shit. Sorry.
All right,
I've only had like one sip of wine so far. I'm just so tired. Thank you guys. Good luck on your finals. Kick some ass. Get your diplomas and go out in the world and make it less racist.
That's awesome. And thank you. Your set is collapsing, so I'm going to say goodbye. I'll stop recording.
Okay.